Ladies and gentlemen, we're back.
We're back with another podcast.
Yay! If you'd like to do a round of applause, we'll give you a second. It's fine.
Yeah, so you guys seem to enjoy, I guess is the word, our podcast last week. So
yeah, we enjoyed our prattling. So we've got a few topics that we're going to discuss, including, the major news points. Games we're looking forward to this year, games we're playing now, and then we're going to answer some questions and talk about a giveaway that we're going to do later Thursday.
We'll get to that later. Yeah. So let's begin.
It was a preview!
Let's begin with the big thing that happened sort of this week / last week. Is of course the Fine brothers. They did a thing, and the internet was like, "It's very nice, everything got there. Be a shame if something were to happen to it."
Normally I don't jump on bandwagons, because I know how really easy it is as someone on the internet, and I'm not even referring to someone who's a content creator here. Just even like a forum user to fuck up. And
no, we're all human at the end of the day. Mistakes do happen, but this one of such a catastrophic level.
To be honest, the reason I don't feel sorry for that, I feel bad for some of their employees. Like, let's say you're just a video editor.
No, their employees have not done anything wrong.
But the reason I don't feel bad for the Fine Bros is I feel that they've bought it along themselves, and it's not just the fact that they tried to trademark it. That I could actually somewhat forgive. And I know that sounds like...
I don't know, that's kind of the core of the issue.
No, you know what? That, to me, is bad. But I could almost forgive them. You know what I don't forgive? It's the fact that I feel that they've lied. For example, the fact that they've said, it was the content ID that was giving people copyright strikes.
Well, it was just a lovely layer cake of things that they did wrong. Like the trying to trademark React was like the filling. But there's lots of other layers around that, like the fact that they've used and abused YouTube's broken-ass DMCA system to take down channels that do stuff that's too similar to them, because no one ever reacted to anything before they came along, right?
Well, what got me as well is they were even attacking various TV shows for doing the same thing.
They went after Ellen DeGeneres,
and
who's arguably one of the nicest people on television.
Yeah, and they did it to a couple of others.
Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah,
that was it, and I think maybe even one other person.
I don't know, but they've abused this in the past. They don't own the concept of reacting to things, and it's just the hypocrisy of them acting like, we're doing you a favor, guys.
Yeah.
You can create React videos, and we get to get 40% of your revenue because we totally created reacting to things.
Well, to be honest, the other thing I've got with the whole situation is I feel that they were just abusing their fans, abusing their power.
Yeah, and they just got way too big for their britches, basically.
Yeah, I you know what, to be honest, it's not my type of content.
No, it's not for me either, but, clearly people enjoy it because, before this whole thing began, they had 14 million subs or something.
And they took an arrow to the... To be honest, I thought it was quite funny, though, the fact there were actually live streams of the subscriber count just taking a nosedive. And you might say to yourself, well, it's only I don't know what the subscriber count is now, but let's just round up and say 400,000. That doesn't...
It's going to be way more than that. It's going to be 13 million something.
Yeah, well, roughly, let's say 400,000 after the sub-bleed stopped. That doesn't sound terrible, but the fact is it was active live subscribers.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm sure by the end of it, they still had an obscene amount of subscribers, even if they went down to 12 million or something, which probably didn't, to be honest.
No, it stayed at around 13.
Yeah, so the number of subs they have is still obscene. However, they lost a lot, and that has to sting. And everyone that's unsubscribed was a live subscriber, and a lot of that 13 million are going to be dead subs. It's just how YouTube is. It's going to be people who aren't active anymore, or people who don't watch their stuff and have just forgotten to unsubscribe. All sorts of dead subs can happen. So all of those are live subscribers, and you have to remember they have sponsors who aren't going to be very happy about being associated with this catastrophic level of negativity.
Pretty much.
So it's more than just the numbers, basically.
Speaking of catastrophic levels of negativity, let's move on to Intel and the Skylake overclocking.
Yeah, I'll hand this off to you because this is completely outside my area.
So I did discuss this in a news video, but I want to briefly go into this because
I'm just signaling that I'm timing you here. Let's keep this brief.
All right. So essentially, Intel have two levels of processors, right? Just generally, you've got the K and you've got the regular processors.
Yeah. I think most people know that.
Right. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but basically, for a processor, you've got the base clock, and then you've got the multiplier. All the multiplier does is basically takes the base clock and then it times it by the processor's internal multiplier. So let's say, for example, you've got a multiplier of 10 and the base clock is 100. That gives you the total frequency, right?
Yeah.
1,000. Well, basically for the Ks, the multi is unlocked, so you're easily able to overclock the chip. But what a lot of motherboard vendors were doing is they'd found a way in the BIOS to allow you to increase the basically the FSB, the base clock. So essentially, they were giving people the ability to buy, let's say a 6100, right? And then just increase the clock speed and then easily be able to crank up the overclock and get you a pretty damn good processor, considering the absolute gargantuan amount of price gouging that was happening on the 6600K and the 6700K. But basically, Intel, from what the murmurs are on the street, they've basically said, yeah, we're going to basically force you to disable that. So the latest BIOS updates as of February, they pretty much locked that out. And
so basically, they're saying if you want to overclock, you have to pay us like X amount of dollars.
Yeah, and the reason it also means that it's going to disable some of the tweaking. Some of the fine level tweaking of the 6700 and 6600 and the other Ks as well, because basically the base clock's not locked now. And I've got to say that just generally, I think this is a really scummy process. And now, fortunately,
because the guy who buys the non-K version is still a paying customer at the end of the day. Like, who are you to say you can't do X? I mean, yeah, okay, the Ks are meant for overclocking and they're going to be better for it, but there's it should. It seems kind of off that they're saying, we can tell you what to do with this product that you own.
Well, basically, it's locked essentially with the BIOS, but as I said, the vendors have gotten around it. So Intel do sell it as, you can't overclock it, but the fact of the matter is, to be honest, I think it's pretty scummy that they've done this, because it also... I think people are going to be really pissed about this, to be honest, because let's say you bought a product, and it's going to be really interesting to see how people who bought a motherboard, let's say you bought motherboard A, and you bought processor B, right? You bought them because they were advertised to be able to overclock the 6100, just for sake of argument. There are going to be people who are going to be really pissed, upgrade their BIOS, and then the overclock is like, done. So let's say you've got a 500 or 600 megahertz overclock, be conservative. How pissed are you going to be if you can no longer overclock, which means you've got to go down in BIOS version? So I think this is really scummy, to be honest.
Yeah, and this doesn't seem cool. I mean, I know a fair bit about how PCs work and stuff. I don't know as much as you, but that still is wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky situation, and I'm not 100% against Intel, because I understand that it was
they have to make money. I understand that, but at the same time, they're still a paying customer, and perhaps you could simply limit the amount of overclocking that you could do on a non-K. Like, that would actually be kind of reasonable. Like, look, you can't overclock this as much. This is not designed for that because X, Y, Z. That would actually be reasonable, but to limit it totally and completely, that's just...
To be honest, I think...
They still paid you several $100s, probably.
Well, the big problem I think that a lot of vendors are going to... The third-party vendors, like the motherboard manufacturers, are going to have, is essentially they advertised, or people were using these things, bought them for a specific purpose, and then at the end of the day, now they can no longer do it. But anyway, there
was an interesting rumour that I feel warrants discussion this week.
Oh.
Basically, in the code for the official Final Fantasy 15 website, there was a reference to both Windows 10 and PC version, basically Steam store. Now, this code was swiftly removed, but not before NeoGAF screen capped it.
They tend to do that.
Yeah. So basically, this led to rumours of, hey, is Final Fantasy 15 going to come out on PC? Now, the two main caveats to this rumour is it was removed pretty swiftly, and the code was also pretty much a direct copy-paste of the Rise of the Tomb Raider PC, webpage. So you could make the argument that some employee at Square Enix just literally copied the code to save themselves some time, which is fair enough.
Then said, "Oh shit,"
and then forgot to get rid of the mention of the PC version,
which is really easy to do. By the way,
that is entirely possible. And had this been like 2 years ago, I would have written this rumor off as not even worth mentioning. However, the last few years, Square Enix have been putting quite a lot of their games on PC, including now all of the more recent Final Fantasy 13 and all their sequels are now on PC, and obviously Final Fantasy 14 is, and all of their pretty much all their back catalogue now of old Final Fantasy games, apart from the really old ones and certain ones like I don't think like 5 is just for example.
They're getting to
a lot of their Final Fantasy back catalogue is on PC now, so this is way more plausible now than it was a couple of years ago for that reason. And I personally hope it's true, because that means Kingdom Hearts 3 might come out on PC.
The reason I feel that it's probable it will happen is simply because at this point it's so easy to release the game on PC comparatively.
Yeah, in comparison to what it was on the PS3 or Xbox 360. Yeah,
and I think that they do fairly well. They always seem to sell fairly well.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the sales of like Final Fantasy 13 or like 14 and Rise of the Tomb Raider and
because I think the PC version's selling quite well.
Yeah. So they've probably seen, hey, people really like these games on PC. Maybe we should consider. And if it does come out, it's probably not going to be at the same time as the console versions, but that's fine, because that's more than we would have gotten previously.
I'm all for it, but then I'm all for
why wouldn't we be?
Exactly.
Get to play it at a proper frame rate. That would be nice.
To be fair, frame rate's less of a big deal, but that downs on play.
Exactly.
And less jaggers. The worst thing for me is like when there's jaggers and like if you're at certain angles, like when you see like it's like really upsets me.
Hashtag PC gamer problems.
Yeah, pretty much. So you were talking about the Unreal Engine to me.
Yeah, this like was just something that interested me, and it probably won't interest very few people other than me. But basically, Epic Games released a trailer of stuff for their Unreal Engine, which basically says that you can edit and create a game entirely on VR. So let's say you want to make a VR game like, I don't know, like a FPS or a survival horror or whatever.
Which is pretty much, or a racing game, because let's face it, what else are you going to make?
There's plenty of games you can do in VR, but regardless, you can do it entirely from a VR headset, which just makes my mind tingle with the possibilities of like...
Are you sure it's your mind?
Yes. I'm not a developer myself, but it still just makes me wonder like how much easier is this going to make it for developers to make something in VR, because say beforehand you would have had to say code it normally or do some sort of visual interface depending on the engine that you're using, and then right, okay, now I have to put on my headset and make sure this actually works from the viewer perspective, and obviously that's just kind of more annoying steps for the developer, and obviously it makes it a longer process to like, oh wait, X, Y, and Z makes you feel sick on VR, but I didn't realise when I was just looking at it on a monitor, just for example. But if you can develop from VR in the start, it's just going to make it a lot more streamlined.
All I think is like, I get to play God! But, I was just like, I shall raise a mountain! I shall catapult that mountain. I'll just like raise sinners.
Yeah, so I don't know. It just sounds like this could open up so many more possibilities for VR.
And I've destroyed the city.
The Unreal Engine is also pretty easy to develop for, as far as I understand.
Yeah, UE.
And this would just open up, and maybe we'll get more VR games because of this, because it just makes it live so much easier for developers.
I think it'll be pretty awesome. It'll be interesting to see what the workflow is eventually.
Yeah, it just sounds like such a smoother workflow. Like, rather than having to stop, put on a VR headset, check it, take it off, change it. You can literally just do it in VR if you want, basically.
With the sex toys that we're hearing now, God, that has some... maybe I didn't make their boobies big enough. Did you see about that sex toy that apparently is popping out?
What? No.
Basically, you know what? Let's start. We'll leave that.
What is it?
See, now she's curious.
The viewers want to know.
I don't think they do. No, basically, from what I'm hearing, and I didn't look into it because, frankly, it's probably going to take me down a deep, dark path
that you don't want to go down. Yeah,
essentially, someone is creating a sex toy that attaches to your parts. And
well, I'm wondering what this has to do with VR, but continue.
Well, basically, it's virtual reality sex.
For God's sake, of course someone's made that.
So basically, it's the equivalent of like, yeah. Oh, and for another random
Of course, this is a thing that exists.
Oh, another random one.
I'm just shocked it took this long.
Oh, and viewers, on my Facebook, my personal Facebook, someone shared something, not on my page, but I just happened to see it pop up. Apparently, there's now an alarm clock that wakes you up, which isn't new, but this one does it with an orgasm.
That just sounds inconvenient. I don't know.
I wanted to read how it would just like wake you up with an orgasm, but I like, you know what? I'm actually good not knowing that. Because it had like this photo of this.
I mean,
it had this photo of this woman. Like,
I was going to say, like, for a woman, it's not too bad, but for a man, surely that's going to have practical problems.
Well, the way I see it as well, it's like how no, actually, no.
Yeah, I feel like that's a rabbit hole best left alone.
Yeah, because I saw this like because it had the articles usually have photos like and it had this like photo of this woman like with her mouth open, like her hands covering her eyes, like I was like.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Like
pretty much.
I don't know, I mean even for a woman, it's like when I just woke up, I don't want anyone to even speak to me before I even had a coffee, so it's just like
you prefer like an alarm clock that gives you a coffee rather than
Yeah. Wake me up with a coffee like that robot set up that thing he has in Back to the Future.
Oh yeah. Thingy.
Yeah.
You can't remember Dr. Brown.
Yeah, Dr. Brown. I knew it was. I just remember Doc, and I couldn't remember the last part. So.
You have my permission to criticise her, there, viewers.
I don't think they need it. They're going to do that already.
Oh, damn well.
Anyway, let's move on from the creepy, dark, and scary areas of the internet.
But I'm so comfortable there.
And on to the X12. Anything you want to discuss here?
To be honest, there is a lot of stuff, but I could probably eat up like 90% of the video time. But the biggest thing for me, and there's a couple of people actually that shared some really awesome stuff on the Facebook page from Nvidia and AMD, but also there's a lot of stuff on GDC. Now, I personally think that this year in GDC 2016 is going to be really interesting.
There's a lot of interesting conferences scheduled.
That's what I'm saying. Now, I will be doing some in-depth analysis when they pop out.
Yeah, and I'll be covering anything else that's interesting from GDC as per normal.
Yeah, but I've got to say, from my point of view, I think this is going to be... I think, it's like, last year was awesome in terms of technology. It was good. No, actually, I'll take that back. It was interesting in terms of technology, but I think in terms of actually what happened on the market, it sucked balls. There wasn't that much. There wasn't much
movement, no.
No, I mean it was more of a bowel movement in some cases. But now it's like we were talking about all these pieces of technology like DX12, Vulkan, and now it's like 2013, 14. It was like all about Mantle, and I already knew the second I heard about Mantle, people are going to want to jump on the low-level API bandwagon. Then basically, Mantle obviously has now produced two offshoots, DX12 and Vulkan. So it's going to be really, really cool because now we're starting to see I guess you could say it's going to be really what happens now. We're going to see the...
Well, yeah, we're only now just seeing games starting to actually really utilise DX12. Main one that's going to be using it is, of course, Deus Ex Mankind Divided.
Ashes of Singularity as well.
Yeah, Ashes of Singularity is going to be using it. There's rumblings that Hitman is going to, but that's not actually been confirmed. That actually was a rumour.
Fable.
Thanks to a GDC conference where they're going to be discussing DX12 to do with Hitman. So they probably are, and given that it's also, of course, a Square published game, it's fairly likely.
Yeah, Fable as well.
And there's also rumblings that there is some DX12 utilisation in Just Cause 3, but not fully. So,
to be fair, with how Just Cause is developed, I'm surprised there's actually a single player in the
yeah, let's not go down that rabbit hole.
A little random point, by the way. Just Cause 3 is one of the few games I can say that I like the sequel. I like Just Cause 2, but I hated Just Cause 3 so much Well, yeah, I had to actually get her to review.
Basically, it's just like, play this because I can't stand it, and I was just like, okie dokie then.
Yeah, literally the rage was so much, and the disdain.
I don't understand. It's basically the same game, just prettier and with extra features.
I couldn't soldier it. There was something about the gameplay, it just felt really off to me.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move swiftly on to the games we've been playing this week. Did you want to start, or shall I?
You start.
This week, I have been playing a few different games.
You can mute it, by the way, now, viewers, for the next minute or so.
No. Turn the volume up, if anything. You know, you listen to my ASMR goodness. So, let's... main thing I've been playing this week... I've been playing some more Pony Island since the stream, and that's still weird as ever, although I haven't actually gotten around to finishing it yet.
Sorry about that, my bottle cracked.
It's okay. And
I was apologising to the viewers, not you.
and I was saying, it's okay, from them, through me, to you. Anyway, main thing I played is Unravel, which I've actually got a part of up on the channel. So if you haven't watched that...
Plug.
And that's actually a little bit early, because I decided, you know what, I'm going to sign up to Origin Access and actually see if it's
How did you find that?
I'm actually going to be uploading a video on my opinions.
Plug.
It's not up yet when this video goes up, but it will be up this week. So
Plug.
yes, exactly.
Subscribe.
And that is really good so far. I'm blown away by the graphics. It just really is gorgeous. And the reason I wanted to play it so much is, I'm sure this is true for a lot of people. When the developer was on stage at E3 last year, he was clearly terrified. Like, he had not been up in front of that big a crowd. You could just tell he was scared out of his mind because his hands were shaking. But he was just so full of passion and like love for this this thing that he'd made. I was just like, you're so cute. Your game looks so good. I need to play it. And then I played it, and that same love and passion that came through on stage is just pouring out of that game. And from what I've played, it's really good.
For those of you who can't see what my expression was when Amy was like, he's so cute, it was just like this blank... I don't see how that makes any difference at all.
Well, you could just tell the passion that he had for the game, and it really came through with how he was talking about it. You know, you obviously haven't seen it, and if you haven't, you didn't think that you have no soul. I'm sorry.
Anyway, moving on.
Is there anything else I've been playing this week? Just try and think.
No.
But not really. I played a bit more Hotline Miami just because it's a good game. And I reinstalled it on the stream, and I was like, do you know what? I'm going to play more of that game because it's good.
Because you like murdering.
Do you like hurting other people? The answer is yes. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Anyway, what have you been playing?
Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Mm-hmm.
So, funny story.
Okay.
And by funny, I mean you either laugh or you cry into your soup. So it turns out that I recorded all of the stuff for the graphics comparison.
Oh yeah, this story.
Yeah.
Okay.
For Rise of the Tomb Raider. And then there was an update on Steam, and I thought to myself, oh, I wonder what that does. Oh, it's probably going to improve... Oh, there's graphics options updates.
So basically the game was like, hey bro, you know all that work you did? How would you like to have to redo it all?
Yeah, I was like, I could put up the comparison without it, but I've got an OCD where I'm just like, no.
Well, to be fair, it's not really a fair representation of the PC version if they've improved the graphics.
Yeah, so basically I was like, sadness.
Yeah, there was so much sadness. You were basically just crying for so long.
Yeah, so I was going to just put out a comparison regardless, and then I thought, you know what? If I do that, it's not going to be what I want it to be. So,
yeah.
Apart from that, what else have I been playing? A little bit of retro stuff.
Such as? Examples?
A couple of Genesis games.
Examples?
I've actually just been messing around with a couple of old Sonics.
Oh, cool. Nice. Can't go wrong with the classics.
I've been playing some SNES games. The old Street Fighter. And a little bit of Mario, because I'm testing out a new joypad that I've gotten, which I'm reviewing just for fun. I've got to say, I'm really freaking shitty at Mario. Like, I got killed by the first enemy. To be fair, I never played it, really, when I was a kid.
No, me neither.
So I was like,
did not have a Nintendo console growing up.
No, and I was like, You know, I'm okay
It
at the
was like
3D Marios. I'm
sorry.
okay at the 3D Marios, but I'm not pro. But oh my god, at the 2D Marios, I was like, I feel like I'm playing Dark Souls. I felt traumatized.
Here's the thing, like, I think we actually forget just how punishing those old games were.
It's like, you like that, don't you, bitch?
And some of them are actually really unfair because they were designed to get as many like quarters or money out of you in the arcade as possible. So if you play some of these old games that are deliberately unfair to make you spend more money,
I don't think Mario's unfair. I think it's just difficult.
No. I'm not using Mario as an example. I'm just saying with some of those old games, they were designed that way. And
Revenge of Shinobi was definitely one.
Yeah. Like I loved that game when I was young, but you go back and play it now, and you're like, this is just BS. Like this is just crap.
I still love the game,
like,
but there are some really annoying things on that game.
I literally have no guilt about using save states in those games because, like, you know what? If you're going to cheat, then so am I.
You know, I still think that because Revenge of Shinobi for me was actually the first game that I played on my Mega Drive Mega CD.
Really?
Yeah, I had it. A bit of trivia for you all. I bought. Well, rather my parents, but I was like, Meme! Like, I need that.
I need this thing. It's
yeah,
shiny.
like, I was on the Master System at the time, and I got the thing, and we had, like, an old TV.
CRT?
Of course, this was, like, the, you know...
I know, I'm just saying.
Yeah. So, essentially, there was a small problem.
Which is?
It was black and white. The TV wasn't black and white, but there was a problem with the... But I don't know what... I was too young.
There's basically a problem, and it was showing in black and white when it should have been colour.
Yeah, I was like, that doesn't look right. And so we had to get a new TV.
Ah.
So I was the catalyst for my parents getting a new TV, so I could play in colour. And...
Yeah, or like all 16 colours.
Well, actually, the Genesis could handle up to 64 at a time without sprite differing.
Got a balance over here.
Yeah, that blast processing. So essentially, the game that I loaded first was on the Sega CD, 5-in-1 CD, which had Super Monaco GP, Columns, Streets of Rage 1, Golden Axe, and Revenge of Shinobi.
Those are some good games.
Yeah, and the first game I loaded was that.
I don't remember what the first one I had was. I just remember the main games I played were this helicopter game that was called, like...
Jungle Strike.
No. I can't remember. Like, you controlled a helicopter and you, like, flew around shooting stuff. I can't remember what
Jungle
it's called.
Strike, Desert Strike.
Thunder Strike or something
Jungle
like
Strike.
It wasn't Jungle. It was Thunder something.
Urban Strike. Soviet Strike. Because they're all part of the same series.
I don't know. It was that. I'm sure someone in the comments will tell me what I'm talking about. That plus Streets of Rage 2, I think I had. Oh, no, sorry, the original Streets of Rage, sorry. Super Monaco I think I had as well, actually, if I remember right. And Sonic, of course.
Yeah. Did you like Streets of Rage 2? I didn't like it much.
It's not as good. I don't know what it is about it.
No.
To be honest.
Most people I know love Streets of Rage 2 more than any other, but for me I think it's the worst by far.
I mean, I don't know go that far. Streets of Rage 1 is good, and Streets of Rage 2 in theory should have fixed some problems that Streets of Rage 1 had. But I don't know, it just doesn't feel the same, and I can't really put my finger on what it is.
Random little tip for you all. The best button, or attack rather, in all the Streets of Rage 1 is B and C.
Why together. Is that?
Because it's like a back attack, so you know the ninja women?
Oh, right, yeah.
When they jump at you, you can literally just back attack them while they're jumping at you in the air if you time it properly.
Nice.
There are easier ways of doing, well, there are better, more efficient ways, but if you suck at the game like I do, because I've not played in ages...
Yeah, it's always fun, like, you know, I've got this collection of classic games on like, various systems now, so I'm going to go back and play this. Oh, wait, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And now I remember why it took me several months to get good at them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of the retro games.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's it for
Shadow of Mordor. I've been playing a little bit.
Oh, okay, cool.
And we've been playing Mad Max together.
A little bit, yeah, and of course we played Resident Evil as well, which just went up. So watch it
now. Give us.
Well, not now. After the podcast finishes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we got some questions.
Did we want to talk about games you're looking forward to?
Oh yeah, might as well. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. So this year, 2015 was amazing for games. So many good games came out last year.
So many cinematic experiences.
So many good games came out last year, but I've got a feeling that 2016 is probably going to give it a run for its money, because obviously we don't even have the full list of games coming out yet.
Name 5.
Okay, games that I'm looking forward to. The Last Guardian is finally going to come out. Praise
Jeebus.
Praise be to Yoshida. So that's finally coming out. Final Fantasy 15 is finally coming out. Fingers crossed Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out this year, hopefully. Of course, we've got the Final Fantasy 7 remake coming out. Unravel's not actually out yet, so I guess you could count that. Far Cry Primal. There's a ton of stuff.
I broke something.
Yeah, he broke it and then he looked really sad.
I broke a protein scoop.
Yeah. Trying to think of anything else. Oh, Allison Road is coming out this year.
Which looks pretty sweet.
I would say Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, but that's actually not till next year. Same for Scalebound, that got delayed. So...
Which made me very sad internally.
Yeah. So wait, anything particular you're looking forward to?
Far Cry Primal.
Mm-hmm. I've heard good things about that.
Yeah, it looks pretty sweet.
Mm.
Dark Souls 3.
Oh yeah, Dark Souls 3, how could I forget?
We did in mine. Jesus, so many games.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There are so many games. Like I actually was looking at the list and I was like, oh, I mean Doom for example.
Oh yeah, Doom. Yeah, of course.
I mean, I looked.
That's what I'm saying. There's so many good games coming out already.
I've got to say,
and we don't even know what's coming out for like Christmas time.
Like Doom, when I saw that damn game, I was like,
yeah. I remember when I showed you the gameplay from E3, you were just like, yeah, this is looking good.
Yeah, there's something about Doom that, because another little random bit of trivia for you all. When I was younger, I did not own a PC, and I didn't actually get one until just after the PlayStation.
Yeah.
So essentially, I used to go around a friend's house a lot to play on his PC, and one of the main games we used to play together is Doom and Command & Conquer, which I then got on the Sega Saturn.
Nice.
Yes.
Cool. No, I mean, I'm glad that we're having a bit of a resurgence of old school style FPS, because I'm gonna level with you guys. Modern military shooters are boring for me. Plenty of people enjoy them. That's cool. But for me, they are boring.
I actually don't mind
games
them.
like the new Shadow Warrior, games like Doom, games like Hard Reset, Painkiller, all of that.
I prefer the old school, but I don't mind the odd bit of modern.
Well, no, there's good FPS that's come out that's modern, like, for example, the Bioshock games, The Darkness and The Darkness 2 were really good.
I don't really call them FPS, though. I mean, they are in the strictest sense.
Well, they are FPS. They're just unusual FPS.
Yeah, I mean, Bioshock's gunplay, especially Infinite, was a bit sucky, so...
Yeah, it doesn't have great gunplay, but it is an FPS that I enjoyed. So,
okay.
There you go.
Alright, so I guess we should move on to the questions.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have a huge amount, so sort it out, basically.
Yeah.
But we did have a few questions from Jack Boomer. He wants to know a few things. First of which is, where did we meet? And basically, it was purely by chance. It was a local alternative club night that I had been going to for quite some time.
Like a metal night, basically.
Basically, metal, goth, industrial, that sort of thing. So,
which is kind of weird considering I'm not goth or
yeah. I don't know. I mean,
think I just go there for friends more than anything.
Yeah, you knew some people there, whereas I am actually a big metalhead. So yeah. Anyway, and I think someone we both knew introduced us, if I remember right, and then we kind of got talking about Zero Punctuation. I believe I mentioned that I just watched the recent episode.
And I just looked at you blankly.
And you didn't know what it was at the time, and I was just like, oh my god, you need to watch it, and it just kind of went from there, basically.
Pretty much.
So we've known each other, I want to say, like 5 years? Question mark? Roughly?
2011,
it would have been,
I think.
Yeah, so...
I don't know what date in 2011.
I think it was early in the year, so it's almost 5 years, I think, that we've known each other.
Which
now.
Is scary as shit,
yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah, it really is. So, as for day jobs, I am a writer. I write content for a website, and I do all their social media, as well as a touch of video editing and filming on occasion. And you?
I also work for the same company, but... I handle most of the technical stuff, so that
shocking.
So that generally means, Paul, can you fix this?
my computer no work.
No, it usually means what's happened. Oh god, what? Oh god, WordPress updated. Was it broken? I'm scared. Oh, it's fine. So yeah, that's typically what I handle.
Yeah, and the last question from Jack is, what area of the UK are we in? And we live in East Anglia.
Yeah, kind of London-y.
Yeah, London-y area.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. This isn't a question, but I wanted to mention, because this was just like that's really cool kind of moment. Thomas B said that we are basically the reason for him studying computer science, which I just thought was really cool and kind of strange in an odd way.
Yeah, there's a couple of thoughts I have with that. It's weird to have so much not so much influence, but it's weird to have
obviously
influence.
we got him interested or something, I don't know.
And also, I'm really sorry for any mental anguish you're gonna suffer from. He's happy.
Yeah, like when you're crying internally from like your exams, don't blame us.
Well, you know what? Exams are fine. It's expectation versus reality.
Yeah.
Like, it depends what type of computer work you're going to end up doing. But I guarantee you, if you're doing programming, there's going to be this point where you think, no one's ever going to do this set of... No one's ever going to have these set of circumstances. And then that one set of circumstances...
comes up, yeah.
Yeah.
It's always the way. Always
Pretty much.
the way. So yeah, good luck, basically.
And date and time functions are not friends, just for your FYI.
So yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Wish you the best of luck, I suppose. It's really cool that we've kind of helped you along the way, I suppose. And we had a couple of suggestions from people regarding the name for this thing.
Okay.
And there's one that, I'm kind of considering, possibly, from Colton Parker, who suggested the RGB podcast or the Red Gaming Buddy podcast.
I'm not your buddy, Fran.
I'm not your buddy, pal.
I'm not your pal, buddy. Yeah, let's stop with that.
Yeah, and we also had a lot of calls for life stories, which amused me greatly.
This is going to sound kind of geeky, right?
Yeah.
But you know how CRT TVs basically work on three laser guns, basically?
Yes.
Right, so essentially it works on RGB, right?
Uh-huh.
So immediately in my head, I can see the laser guns firing the lasers of RGB, and it creates Red Gaming Buddy.
That is way too advanced for this podcast.
Never. Anyway.
Yes. I believe that is all the questions that we had this week. Yes. So, my only question for you guys is, give us more questions. And what do you mean
That's
by
not a question. That's a statement.
Well, whatever. My actual question is, what do you mean by life story? Like, do you actually mean like, on the day I was born? Or do you mean like our full gaming history? Because it kind of gave you a brief overview last week. So.
Yeah. My gaming history could probably be about 2 hours.
Yeah. So that'll probably be a separate thing if we do it. The big if being in like flaming neon letters.
Yeah, mine would be pretty lengthy.
Yeah.
And also it'd be quite a long story as well.
Oh, for God's sake. Anyway,
wait, we're forgetting something.
Oh yes, almost forgot. We've got some.
No, she almost forgot. I was fine. don't be trying to palm that off. Don't try to palm that off.
I'm not palming anything.
Yeah. No, we almost forgot. No, don't try it. Stop struggling.
Stop struggling.
I was fine. I had it. I was like memory of a hawk. And then
I think you mean elephant, but okay.
No, a hawk, because hawks have pretty good memory apparently.
Oh, okay.
I believe it's hawks.
I don't know.
I heard they're pretty good.
I don't know.
Plus, as well, they've got really good eagle vision.
Yes. Anyway.
Says the person wearing glasses.
Yeah, I was going to say we're both wearing glasses. Anywho, basically we have a big stack of games that we're going to be giving away. Not all of them. Basically, you can win a game of these games on either platform, that being PS or Xbox One, but we're going to be doing a full video on that, I would assume, on like Wednesday or Thursday next week.
Yeah,
And basically we just need to go through the games, see what we've got.
Seriously, we have so many.
Yeah, we've got a big stack of games.
It was supposed to be today that we'll doing the giveaway.
But we're actually not sure on what we've still got, what we haven't got, and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
so
I mean, we've got Just Cause.
Basically, we've got a ton of games to give away. I do remember we've got Fallout, if I remember correctly.
We've got Fallout, we've got Call of Duty.
Syndicate. We've got Just Cause 3. What else have we got?
Just Cause, Fallout, Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, I think.
Yeah.
So
basically, keep an eye out because we're going to be giving away probably like one or two of these games. You could basically pick which one you want
on different platforms. Yeah, so you choose basically.
Yeah, so you're like, I want Fallout on the PS4 or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that.
And then we'll send it on the Xbox One.
So keep your eyes peeled for that next week. That will be coming. Full details in that video. So yeah. That's us done for this week.
There will be no naked photos sent in with that, though,
No. Sorry.
Yeah,
no
I'm
nudes.
sorry.
No needs. I know it's like a tragedy, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but you know. Yeah. I had considered being a porn actor at one point. I'm not actually joking.
He's really not. That's the thing. You don't understand. Like, he is deadly serious. Anyway, so, on that note, shall we wrap it up?
So now we've reduced our audience to either sexually aroused or quivering.
Or disgusted.
Yeah, or a mixture of both. I'm good with either, personally. Like, yeah, I'm pretty happy either way.
So, thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys. You want me. Bye.
Bye.